Hi everyone, I'm Clint. I'm 35 years old and I've had a Fontan procedure conducted on me at the age of 4 and I'm still here. I've been talking about Fontan or living with Fontan for the past couple of videos now. If you haven't already seen, there's 2 more videos ahead of this one. The first one was based on childhood. The next one was based on exercise and managing sport involvement. So with this video, I'm going to talk about the health system and access to medical care. Now, I will just say it's a pretty short topic because there's only a handful of questions and I can answer them pretty quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw it all on its head. I'm going to talk about the health system access and medical care, as well as adult living with Fontan circulation. So I'm sorry if everyone was expecting 5, it's going to be 4 now. I just feel it'd be worthwhile. So let's start it off. And yes, I've got a new haircut for those who probably may or may not have noticed. I don't know. So let's start it off. So the first question here, this is about health system and access to medical care. Question 1. And like I said before, I will answer everyone's questions that were sent in to me, and thank you very much. What was your transfer from paediatric services to adult services like? There wasn't a transfer really. I can't recall a transfer. I mean, if you're talking about education and doctors suggesting where we could go next, there was really none at all. Mum and I just got on with it. We didn't really have any suggestions of where to go or who to see, aside from once a year pop into your GP, and if things get bad, come to, I guess, the children's hospital. So, no, there wasn't much of a... what was it like? Well, there was nothing. So I don't know how to answer that. And I believe it's obviously changed a lot now, which is really, really good. So parents with kids who are about to undergo Fontan or have one now, you're very lucky in the regard that there is support there, including people just like this who are showing this video today. I'm not saying me, but I mean the Australian New Zealand Fontan Committee. So the next question would be, what did you feel could perhaps have been done better to support young adults and adults with congenital heart disease? We've covered that in the other 2 videos. It's more of, there's 2 things. One, it's here. That's very important. That's where it starts. You really need to make sure that you're positive, and really focus on life, really. And also physical activity is number 1. Don't be a defeatist. Always, I'm not saying, read self-help books or anything like that, whatever helps you, but I guess from as a young adult, for me, I really wanted just to be normal, and I guess I made that decision when I was 10 or 12 anyway, so I just really got on with it. Was there support there? I guess mental support would have been good. I personally didn't really need it, but it would have been nice to have as an option. And if you do need it, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not a taboo, But I guess mental support's the big one, and further education of the condition, because I'll be honest, I don't know everything about my condition myself. Whether I just didn't want to know, or it was a bit difficult to explain to me. I never really felt that the medical community wanted to explain it. But in saying that too, that if we go back to the first question, what was the transfer like? Well, there was none, so there was no support there explaining what I could do furthermore. So, I think better mental support, as a young adult, and making sure they're being active. Question 3, did you stay connected with the health system throughout your teen or young adult years? Geez, that was a long time ago. No, I didn't. I was terrible, and I still am. Me going in to get my INR is a nightmare because I just forget. I know it's really bad. But no, I did stay connected in a way, whereas if I hurt myself in hospital, but hurt myself and then go to hospital, and there was my connection, and I've got a pretty thick file. And it's nothing to do with this. It was more to do with, just hurting myself or falling over or doing something silly. So no, I guess I didn't really stay connected with my health system because I was moving around a lot. I went from Albury to Sydney when I was 17. I had nothing really, a couple of bags of clothes and $200, and took off. So not in a bad way. I just wanted to seek opportunity, but that's another story for another video on another topic. But in doing that, I guess I made sure though, once a year I would just get a checkup, and whomever was around, medical, obviously a cardiologist, I would go see them. But the most remarkable thing was when I did see somebody, a cardiologist that is, a lot of them have never even seen the Fontan, ever. They couldn't work it out. I remember one time I had a scan going on, and there was 3 or 4 cardiologists and then nurses all sort of staring at me like it was a pincushion, going, well, what's going on here? And it was curious, and that really didn't fill me with a lot of confidence where I was living, because if I couldn't find someone who knew the condition, then what would happen if something bad happened? So connected, yes and no. Yeah. Next question. Do you have a cardiologist or specialist in Albury? If not, are you concerned about being far from major hospitals in Sydney or Melbourne? Yeah, that did creep in. So my wife and I have had moved here 3 years ago now, and it was in my mind. But in saying that too, if something drastic were to occur in Sydney where we were, I was still a very long way from a hospital anyway. So whereas here, we're 10 minutes. Yes, I do have a cardiologist here. He is a lovely chap. I have mentioned in the second video that I am working with Dr. Rachel Cordina, who's very good. What I have done, and what I suggest that you do, this is adults and and parents with Fontanis as well. What I've done is create a medical ID on the phone. And what happens is you put in vital information of what you have. It's with the phone. You don't have to download an app. It's already there, particularly in your iPhone. And number 1 is Rachel Cordina. And number 2 is my wife. I hope she's not hearing me now. And then of course number 3 is someone else. And what happens is if you are having an episode, you can click on the side button 5 times really fast, and then an instant blast text message comes out to those people. And I think even medical services are called, I think. But either way, everyone knows that you've done something. So that's technology. It's fantastic these days. Whereas when I was little, and listen up parents, when I was little, all we had was the little SOS bracelet, and no one really knew what that was anyway. It looked like a bottle cap. So yeah, that's something I advise, that if people are living in regional areas or even in the city, just make sure that either you've got a medical alert bracelet on you, and on top of that, have a look at this medical alert system on your phone. It's a medical ID. Ambos know immediately if you fall anywhere and an ambulance comes to you, and the ambos will check your phone and they will access that medical ID. I don't think they need a password to get into it either. Personally, I don't have a password on my phone. I've got nothing really to hide, and for that reason, just in case, I always leave it unlocked. Yeah. Next question. This is one of the final questions of the first topic, so that's why I wanted to talk about living as an adult with Fontan. So this final question of this particular topic with medical services: do you feel you have a good understanding of your health, Fontan circulation, and how to best manage your health? Yep. And if you've written that question, then jump onto the first 2 videos. Yes, I do have a good understanding of my health, and like I've said before, I feel like a record spinning round and round. And it's okay to ask. Thank you. Absolutely, you've just got to be active and aware, and you don't have to set records. If you can walk around the block once and then only a block and a half the next time, great. If you walk around it once but every single day, even better. And do I have a good understanding of Fontan circulation? I guess the Sorry, my words are escaping me. It's been a long day. The anatomy of the Fontan, not really. So I'm pretty bad at that. Some people like to investigate what they have and like to pull things apart. I don't. Like I said, I've just managed to get on with it. I've got a basic understanding of it though, and I do understand if I feel a little bit giddy or something happens, which isn't often. And it's usually due to extreme heat. If I'm actually on a very hot day, it affects anyone, but particularly I feel quite withdrawn. Yeah. So, all right. Now the next topic is congenital heart as an adult, disease as an adult, living with Fontan circulation. This is a really good topic. This is part 2 of video 3. So, first question, what tips do you have coping with congenital heart defect as an adult? I don't believe I'm coping. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Like look, it's a fair question. Coping, I've always felt quite normal. I guess for people who, and this is really directed at adults, if you're watching, if you do struggle, and I've been watching a few videos of you out there, and it's good to see you doing it. Some are quite withdrawn, and some people are quite, they're exhausted. So I guess, how do I handle it? I don't really think about it. Again, exercise, positivity, it's all in the mind, in my belief. If you are buying into the condition and if you truly believe it's going to hold you back in life, well, then it's got you. You're lost. You're gone. And that's just, sorry to be brutal and honest there, but that's what it is. Focus on something else that doesn't focus on this too much. Study something. Take your mind off it. Be aware of it, but just get on with life. I think that's, if you want to call that coping or coping mechanism, that's something where you find a hobby. If it's not sport, if you're not overly fit, look, I believe I'm pretty lucky, and for whatever happened, for whatever reason with me. But yeah, I mean, I video game, now and again when I can get the chance. I go on board games, chess, Monopoly, whatever. Just do something that takes your mind off it, and that will really help you. If you delve in too much into the defect, it's going to play with your mind, and there's really no need to do that. Yeah, so I guess that's what I've done. Not just blatantly ignore the condition, but don't focus on it too much. See the lighter side. The fact that we're alive and walking around, that's anyone, is a complete miracle. So, yeah, that's good. Second question is, did your congenital heart defect have any impact on family and friends? Yeah, it did. Yeah, for sure. My mum and my brothers, they treated me a little bit differently. Particularly mum, as I was saying in the first video, my brothers used to wrestle me around, beat me up and whatever, and that was fine. They wanted to treat me as normal as possible. But yeah, I guess it did, particularly with friends at school. They were aware of it. They which I made sure they were aware of it, but at the same time I didn't oversell it. Yeah, so how did it impact them? I guess they were always around to make sure I was okay, and 9 times 9.9 out of 10, I'm always okay anyway. So, yeah. Third question was, are there any adjustments you make to your day-to-day life due to Fontan circulation, such as managing fatigue? Ripper of a question, that one. Yes, and I have said this before, and I think it was in the first video from memory. Fatigue is one that does come in. I get the afternoonies frequently. Now, I'm not sure whether I'm a goldfish or if it's due to my heart. Mind you, if I do come across fatigue, I eat an apple. Actually, every day I have an apple and a banana without fail. And an apple, so I'm not a big coffee drinker at all. I've only really just had a couple now and again. We've just had a little baby girl and it's hard. But no, I have an apple usually at 3 o'clock if I feel the afternoonies kicking in, particularly when I'm staring at my computer. If the apple doesn't quite cut it, I go for a walk. I just go somewhere, get out of the office, get out of the the bubble that you're in, whatever industry you're in. Find your peace throughout the day, and then it'll come back to you. Sometimes I've had to lie down at work. Okay, I do get headaches from time to time, But I drink a lot of water. So if I haven't had a lot of water, I get a headache. So I average probably 2 to 3 litres of water a day. Look, I'm not super healthy by any means, but those core basics of fruits and water, you've really got to do that. That'll help you. So yeah, that's those are the adjustments that I had to make. Particularly as a young adult, I was, I could have been sponsored by McDonald's. Look at everyone shudder when I say that. Could have been, but yeah, no, I've really changed my diet. Yeah, and thanks to my wife Emma, ever since meeting her, my diet's changed tremendously. It's her salads are amazing. Don't let her know I said that. All right, the next one. How and when did you explain your condition to your wife? Well, there we go. Funny that. How did I explain it to her? I told her on our first date, because it was a very long date for whatever reason. It spanned over 7 hours. I don't know how that happens. It wasn't something I came out with straight away, because again, I didn't think it really mattered to talk about it, but we just spoke about so much. And yeah, I spoke to her about it, and I think anyone I speak to about it on that level, they're really curious. And at the same time, and I understand this because some people who will have this condition or similar might feel broken. I guess if you take it with a positive step, you go, yeah, well, it's what I've got. People respect that, and they'll respect you for being positive, or they'll admire you in a way, and they'll go, oh, what? Oh, cool. You're not really bothered? No, I'm not really bothered by it. And that's how I always approached it anyway. So that's how I explained it to Emma, and Emma's aware now of course, what I have and what to do if something happens. But it's not something we really speak about because nothing's really happened. Actually, one thing did happen once, as a matter of fact, and it was in the heat of the day. I was driving a truck. I had a job driving trucks in Sydney. And I was exhausted through heat, and we were working really hard. And I did faint, but that was on a 40-plus day in a hot, cabin of a truck that didn't have any air conditioning. So it was madness. But Emma was right there immediately, knew exactly what to do, who to call, what to say. So yeah, if you are meeting someone, if you're going on a date or whatever, who knows, but it's okay to be open about it. It's just how you approach it. Yeah. Did your view on the future ever seem shadowed by your condition? Yeah, it did in the early years when I was a kid, because the doctors were telling Mum and I that, oh, look, he's very lucky, he's lucky to be alive. You better look after him, and he can't get sick, and he can't do this, and he can't play tackle sports, and he's going to have, the doctors were telling Mum this, I was going to have learning disabilities. I'll be a person who couldn't concentrate fully. He won't be like any other kid. So this was transferred to me early on, and this is the advice that Mum was delivered. So I guess from the early years, that was for me overshadowing my future. Now I don't take that advice at all. And for those who feel that way, don't take it on. Just don't. What's the point worrying about it? There are bigger things in the world than what we're all going through. Yes, it's an issue, and it concerns you. It's your life. I get that, but it's all about positive thoughts, and just moving forward with it and understanding what you have. But yeah, I guess don't buy into too much of the naysaying. And I think in these days, particularly with medical professionals and the videos I've been watching and what I've been told recently, that the doctors of old have been sort of not cast away, but pushed aside of that opinion. And now it's, no, you have to exercise and you have to remain positive and get on with it. So we're very lucky. The final question is, have you ever faced an emotional or mental health challenge as a result of your condition? If so, what did you find helped? There were moments. There were moments where it was hard. It was hard to face. That was mainly in my teenage years. Aside from the condition, our family was going through a bit of stuff as well, and that didn't really help. So I think that was probably a bigger player in the game, aside from this, but this just sort of put the icing on the cake. There was things where I couldn't ask a girl out because I really wasn't confident whatsoever, and I don't think girls really liked me. Well, not that I thought anyway. And then I started blaming myself, and I thought, well, is it my condition? And you know what, teenage angst, you don't know what you think or what you want anyway. But yeah, I'm not going to pin all of it on the heart condition for sure. It was something where it could have been a better environment all round. And the challenges that I faced with that as well, again, that ill advice from doctors, because I'm talking when I was 13, 14 is when I was thinking emotional or mental health. But mind you, I had really good friends around me, really good mates and mates at school, and they just treated me normally, So, I'll never forget the first party I got invited to, and all my mates were there, and we had a great time, and all this sort of thing. And I always kept up with them in sport, and I was always included. Like I was a bit of a goof, and probably still am, but I was always included, and that's what really got me through. I didn't feel the need to see anyone, and if you do, it's okay. It's not a problem, but my friends base really, really helped me out. I only had probably a handful of friends, and I still do. I still got those mates. We just ring each other now and again, and it's great and catch up, But yeah, so the mental health challenges were there, and what helped were my friends. That's what helped. I didn't really want to talk to Mum about it because Mum had already been through enough with everything else. So yeah, that's what happened. So. Well, that's the end of all the questions, everyone. I didn't want to rabble on too much, but I think we've covered a fair bit in that video. So now the final one. There's only 4 videos now. There's no longer 5, but the final one will be parenthood and future, and that's probably going to be the hardest one to talk about because it involves kids moving forward and children of mine. What do we expect in the future? All this sort of stuff, mortality, and that's okay. That's what we're here for. So thanks very much for sending the questions in. I really appreciate it, and I'm happy to help. And any questions that you need answered, even if you want to put something below on the on Facebook there, feel free to ask questions or say anything you like. And if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. That's okay. If you don't feel the same way as I do, that's quite all right. But I really appreciate the opportunity, and anyone who's actually thinking about doing a video with these people, with the Australian New Zealand Fontan Advisory Committee, that's a mouthful, or ANZFAC, do it. You want confidence this brings out confidence doing what we're doing right now. So yeah, all right. We'll see you on the next one, everyone. Thanks very much. Have a great week.